Okay, emerging artists, listen up. This is going to be really, really important. First, an observation. There is a reason why Damien Hirst is not putting any commercials on television. It's because the people who can afford his artworks, they don't watch television. They don't watch television. Think about this. These people don't watch television. The people who can afford these things that are operating in the art world, they control their inputs. They don't consume social media 2-3 hours a day. And so you, with your posting on Instagram, trying to sell art online is preposterous. And this is the advice that you're getting, you know? A lot of emerging artists ask me like, hey, how to sell art on Instagram? They're like, yeah, I have to post consistently, right? I have to use these hashtags, I have to do this, that I already know. And I'm thinking by myself, like, wait a minute. No. That's not how you sell art online. Like posting consistently and using the right hashtags it doesn't matter. This is just not the way it is being done. And so you have to understand. So let's talk about this. Let's think this through. Now, selling art online. There's no real difference with selling art offline. A lot of people, a lot of emerging artists think that now with the booming of social media, suddenly the ways we sell art changed. This is of course not true. This is of course like human psychology doesn't change. And so the way we sold art 20 years ago is still the same way. It's still the same way. Social media didn't change anything. And so you have to understand why you are using social media. And this is a mistake that you sometimes like make. I've made that myself. 2 years ago, I was invested in Instagram. I was posting fairly regularly. My posts were getting 6, 7, 800 likes each post, and 50 comments or 60 or 70, whatever. And I was actually invested in that because I also thought like, yeah, build a community out. Yeah, this. But those things are just simply not how it goes. When you want to sell art, building relationships with collectors is gonna matter way more than posting consistently on social media. Okay? And approaching new collectors after you've done some smart list building where you actually map out which collectors, how to start, like what type of prospects are in line with what I'm making and how, etc. Like those tactics that work, like that people were doing 20 years ago, they still work. Those are still the things that we're doing right now. If you're using Instagram as a tool to do more of that, of course, that's going to be a very smart thing to do. But if you're posting in order to get a lot of likes, in order to get that pseudo fame, that those vanity metrics in, then you're not selling art online. You're kind of a little bit community building, but not really, and you're generating some kind of fame. You know, that's what you're trying to do. Now, if that's what you want to do, of course, that's a good thing. Now, in general, this is and like before we go on, this is we have to understand the problem properly. Like when people think that likes, that comments matter, and that through more likes they will sell more art, which is preposterous. This is just not correct. Then there's a problem, because what's going to happen is that you are going to jump from Facebook, like we saw with a lot of artists. When Instagram became more, like when the engagement was there, people jumped towards Instagram, and then they jumped towards something else, and then they keep on jumping towards engagement, and they're kind of running behind engagement, when engagement has nothing to do with selling art in the short term. Nothing. Over time, perhaps, depending on how you play it out, what your tactic is, but in the direct sale that you have, like, nothing. And so this is just not the right tactic. Why is everybody screaming this tactic, you might ask? Like, why is everybody giving this? Why am I reading this on the blogs? Why is this other artist telling me that? Why, etc., etc.? The reason for that is because, let me tell you a little secret, because they don't really know. These blogs, they don't sell art. These artists that are screaming that, they don't sell art. And so this is the job of somebody who doesn't know, who screams it, and then a lot of other people who don't know, who think like, hey, wait a minute, this sounds better than the thing that I have in my head. Of course, that's gonna be it. And then they all do that, and they all copy paste one another until everybody is screaming the same thing that makes no fucking sense. Shh, never say fuck. Don't say those words on YouTube, okay? But anyway, like, this is just not how it goes. What I'm saying is that when you want to sell paintings online, engagement is not gonna matter. When you want to sell your book that costs €5 online, engagement is gonna matter. You know? And so depending on what you're selling, if you're in viral marketing, sure, chase engagement. Go towards the platforms with the highest amount of engagement at all times. Sure, do that. If that's not what you're selling, if that's not your goal in the next couple of years, then perhaps you should change your tactic, or at least start to understand how it is done. Now, are there social media platforms? No, not really social media platforms. Are there platforms online that are going to help you sell art online? Of course. Of course. If you're going to put your art on Artsy, for example, that will have an impact. That will have an impact. On Artsy, there's going to be some kind of extra grandeur to it, like some kind of, what's the English word for that? I don't really know. But anyway, there's going to be some kind of extra impact because of the context. But on social media, that doesn't happen, you know. On social media, that's just not the game that is being played, so you shouldn't try and play that game. When you're selling art, which platform doesn't matter. Just choose a platform where you can build relationship. You can do that on Facebook, you can do that on Instagram, you can do that even on MySpace, you know, like if collectors would operate, if they would still be moving on MySpace, that would be a platform that you could use. Of course, nobody's using that, so I wouldn't recommend it. But anyway, like don't follow engagement. This is not the sales tactic for artists. This is not how you sell art. Now, if you want to know more about like Artsy and what are the best platforms to sell your art online, I have a whole other video on that. You can check it out. You can check it out right now. It's somewhere and whatever. But let's go a little bit further on this one. So how to sell art on Instagram? Or is selling art online, is it a scam? Let's talk about the title of this video. Is it a scam? No. It's not. You can sell art online. You can do that. But is it any different than selling art offline? No, it's not. And so whenever you find yourself doing stuff online to sell art that you would not do offline, for example, liking a lot of images so you get a lot of likes back, or doing some botting stuff, or doing some like-for-like structures or common pots, or all these silly Instagram tactics. Whenever you're doing that, you have to understand that you're not selling art, and you're not going to sell any art. It's just not gonna happen, because we don't sell art through those tactics. And so you're doing something. You might be doing some community building, or the foundation for community building, because that's also now really how you build community. But it could be a tool to some extent that helps, sure. If you're doing other stuff than selling art online, these tactics might actually be worth something. But if you're not, if you're doing that because you want to sell art online, then you have to understand that you're doing something wrong. Or you don't understand which process, and then you have to start learning. Watch videos, read books, start like talk with other artists who actually succeed. You know? Like, you have to start figuring out the process, because this whole notion that that sales for the arts happens on Instagram, where you just follow the traditional guidelines, is madness. It's madness. In order to conclude this video, in essence, it boils down to the following thing. If you don't know how to sell art offline in real life, you will not be selling any art online. It's that simple. The methods are still the same. Nothing changed. And so you have to start learning how to sell art in general. If you want to know more about that, watch one of my other videos or ask questions. I hope this video helped. That's the only reason why this whole thing is here. My name is Dries Ketels. I'm an artist, and I would like to see you again. So make sure that happens. Let's see each other again sometime, somewhere online. Ciao.